The bill was first introduced to Parliament in December 2015 and finally passed into a law by Parliament on Tuesday evening. This bill seeks to establish a minimum wages advisory board that will determine minimum wages for given sectors. The provision of this bill are 1. The commencement, application and interpretation of the Act. 2. The establishment of minimum wages boards. Also, agreements relating to remuneration and conditions of work, and finally, keeping of records and the powers of authorized officers. Workers MP Arinaitwe Rwakajara, who is also the author of this bill, spoke to journalists at Parliament.
I want to assure the country that this law, 1, it will improve the welfare of the workers. 2, it will bring harmony between the employer and the employee. 3, it will empower the population of Ugandans.
According to this bill, the board will be required to recommend minimum rates of wages for all classes of workers, recommend minimum overtime rates of wages, and minimum holidays with pay for employees. It will also advise on the maximum sum which employees may deduct from minimum wage for cost of food, housing, and suggest the extra rate of remuneration, for example, allowances. However, there are concerns about the applicability of this bill in the informal sector. Brian Ahomza, for instance, is a clothing store owner and employs about 8 people. He believes that these provisions are only applicable to a few sectors.
Most businesses around town, it's very difficult. They are closing down every day, like boutiques, like all these small businesses. People, you go in a boutique and you find that the power is off. It's cut off for even 3 days. So you find the employer can't afford to even pay just the power to make sure their shops are lighting. So when you talk about now you have to pay maybe your employees this exact amount of money, but then they're not making that money. So it doesn't really make sense.
Ahomza also says that business people face hindrances which limit what they can pay their employees, also noting that it protects one party.
But I feel it's a very good bill that would protect employees, but then it doesn't protect certain employers who are still struggling with things there.
Rwakajara says all concerned parties will have a take on the minimum wage.
Employers must be involved and employees must be involved, so that they reach a compromise of a certain figure that does not hurt anybody. I think it is a very friendly law, and it will help this country to develop to another level.
Sandra Twinovideo, NTV.